If you have a Chevy Malibu and you've filled up your fuel tank, but you get in the vehicle and you find that your fuel gauge still says that you're on empty, your vehicle has an issue. My name's Len from 1A Auto. I want to go over the top 5 problems that I've come to find on this Chevy Malibu. Let's get into it. If you find that your vehicle's having this issue, it typically comes down to this part right here. This is your fuel level sensor. As you add fuel, this is going to come up and it's going to make a change right in this area. This will send an electrical current through these wires to the computer of the vehicle. That's how you're going to know exactly where the level's at. You're going to see it right on the dash there. If you fill up the tank and you find that your fuel level still reads that it's low, more than likely this is the culprit. With that said, let's make our way under the vehicle. Now, underneath the vehicle is where the fuel pump assembly is going to be located. Yeah, you're looking at the fuel tank. That's because you have to drop the entire fuel tank down and out of the vehicle, slide it out from under here, so you'll be able to gain access to that fuel pump assembly, which is located inside of the fuel tank. And if one part has an issue, more than likely, there's other parts that are potentially going to cause an issue as well. While you're in here, just go ahead and get the entire assembly from 1AAuto.com and we'll be sure to ship it right out to you. Now let's get out from under here so we can talk about problem number 2. For the second problem, we're going to continue on with fuel-related issues. For this one, it's a lot more simple than the other. This one, you might find that you have a check engine light. Now this problem typically comes down to the fuel cap. It can go bad in a couple different ways. Firstly, you want to look at that gasket. If it looks like it's dry rotted and cracked in any way, you want to go ahead and replace it. Other than that, when you go to put the fuel cap back into place, if you don't hear an audible click, the fuel cap has an internal issue, and once again, replace it. To replace the fuel cap, it's extremely simple. Anyone can do it. Go ahead and turn it counterclockwise, as you would always do. After that, follow that strap over to the fuel door. A quick pull on that, and it'll slide right out of place. Replace it with a brand new one, and when you put it in there, make sure you hear that click, close your fuel door, clear the check engine light, and take your vehicle for a road test. Easy peasy. The third problem we're going to talk about is an issue with the electronic power assist. For this particular vehicle, you do not have hydraulic power steering. You'll have an electronic assist motor down on that power steering rack. There's multiple issues you could potentially have with this particular vehicle. One could be an issue inside of the steering column, which would be located between the steering wheel here in the passenger compartment and the steering shaft, which is generally still in the passenger compartment, but it also leads down to that power steering rack. If there was an issue in the power steering column, commonly the replacement would be replacing the entire column. Other than that, you might have an issue with the power assist motor, which is under the vehicle. Now, from under the vehicle, we'll be looking just along the top of the subframe. That's where you're going to find where your power steering rack is, and that's where the electronic assist motor is located, right up along here. Of course, you'd want to give a quick inspection to that electrical connector, make sure that you don't see any corrosion and it's not loose in any way. If you still had a power steering assist issue from here, you'd want to go ahead and replace the unit, and commonly people will replace the entire power steering rack. At the same time, get yourself a 4-wheel alignment. Come on, start. That's weird. Passlock? Fourth problem on these particular vehicles comes down to the Passlock system. That's part of your ignition system. Essentially what it comes down to is the vehicle wants to make sure it knows exactly who's trying to start it up. If you don't have the right key, and for some reason it's not communicating properly, the vehicle's going to think that it's trying to be stolen and it's not going to want to start. The problem is that you have the right key and you're trying to start the vehicle and it doesn't want to start. It's a Passlock issue and you're going to have to make your way into the steering column to diagnose and fix this issue. A quick note, having a whole bunch of extra things hanging from your key causes extra pressure on your ignition cylinder and it could potentially cause an issue with that Passlock key sensor. For our fifth problem, we'll make our way under the hood. Let's get this out of the way, remove our engine cover. Under that area, you're going to find your ignition coils. This is a 4-cylinder, so you have 4 of them. Your ignition coils are part of the ignition system. Obviously, it's part of the name. If something like this was to be bad or damaged, you're going to have a check engine light, a running condition, and poor fuel economy. The replacement for this is fairly simple overall, but when you do them, you always want to make sure you do them as a set. Since this vehicle has a 4-cylinder, it has 4 of these. A quick note, underneath each one of your ignition coils is a spark plug. If you have an issue with the ignition coil, more than likely the spark plug's worn. Go to our site, order everything as a kit. We'll ship it right out to you. Once you have it in there, you want to make sure that you take your vehicle for a road test and make sure the condition is fixed. Now, I hope you liked the video. I hope you found it interesting. If there was something in this video that you think might help somebody, feel free to share it with them. If you like the video or even love the video, go ahead and smash on that like button for me. It would mean the world. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe, ring the bell. That way there you, all of your friends, can be kept up with all of our latest content. Thanks. I'm a little nervous.
Okay, don't be. Deep breaths.
Your vehicle has problems. This vehicle has problems. Let's get into it. If you don't have the right key and it's not commuting,